Okay, everybody, welcome back to WNY High School Football Weekly. I am Frank Wolf, joined by Tom Prince, as I often am, each and every Wednesday night. Although I say each and every Wednesday, the last two we did on Thursday.
True, true.
But here we are, back at WNY Athletics headquarters in beautiful East Amherst, New York. And I want to say thank you first for all the comments on last week's show for our buddy down there in Portville, Tom. We got a lot of them for Colt, so thank you very much. I also do have a card for Colt that was sent in. We gave our address out, and someone sent a card that we will be getting, that we will send down to Portville later this week. Just going to wait and see if any more show up. But again, if you wanted to send a card thinking of you, get well, something like that to Colt, you can send it to WNY Athletics, care of Colt, 405 North French Road, Suite 108, East Amherst, New York, 14228. Sounding a little nasally today, aren't I?
Yeah, but better than you've been, so.
I don't look any better. Nothing is going to fix this mug.
Oh, stop.
But, yeah, I mean, Friday, Saturday, we braved that cold. Saturday, that was some crazy weather down at Highmark Stadium. We did all 5 games plus one of the Monsignor Martin games. And then Sunday, I came down with a sinus infection. I did go get that COVID test just to make sure, knock that possibility out. Came back negative, thank the Lord. But we still got to go through this sinus infection stuff. We've got our meds, so we're on the mend.
How about Sarah?
Sarah Holland, our sideline reporter all weekend long. Oh my goodness, we need to send her to like Hawaii or something to warm up after that. She was like an iceberg.
Yep. Phenomenal job. I mean, we can't thank her enough. I mean, she really showed why she's got a future in this business. There's no doubt about it.
WNY Athletics sent, over the 2 days between Depew for St. Mary's and Timon all the way through the 5 games at the stadium, and then Ethel Springs for Franny's Canisius. 31 people. We had 31 people representing WNY Athletics there over the 2 days, and I want to thank everybody from WNY Athletics for their for pitching in the way you did. We even had some interns. That counts some of the interns. We had Carson Hayek, a JV quarterback from Orchard Park, did some work. Him and his father helped us chart quarterbacks play. Thank you very much to those 2 guys. Bryce Hinsdale came up from CSP. He worked with Sarah on Friday, and his father, Kyle, came down as well and helped us with some stats in the press box Friday night. Those contributions, we appreciate them. Thank you very much to those folks for helping us out. We are still looking for one stats guy Saturday at Will South. If there is a football stats guy available, we could use you for 3 games or 1 game. If you're available on Saturday and you can get to Will South and you want to watch the Far West Regionals, here's your ticket. You could be a WNY Athletics Employee of the Day if you can help us out. Just get in touch with us on Twitter. Either reach out to Tom or myself. Get us on Facebook, and we'd love to have your help. But you need to be there physically for that to happen. So, Tom, today's show, we are going to be announcing the finalists for the Connolly Cup. We got the list just before the show today from Dennis Sarro, the chairman of the Connolly Cup. Thank you very much, Dennis. He's been battling a few things recently, so he was not able to join us in studio to make that announcement for us, or with us, I should say. So, Dennis, we hope you're feeling better. And next year when we make this announcement, of course, you should be here. Most importantly, get healthy, because we need you there at the banquet on the 8th to pass the William Connolly Trophy to the recipient this year. It is it's from 1972 they started naming a Connolly Cup winner, since 1972. So that's pretty cool. The Connolly Cup. Yes, I am on that committee. We're always looking for new members to join us. It's a major commitment. It is a major commitment, and it's a very, very difficult job. These men that go out and do it, we actually pay. We actually pay into this. It's not, we don't get paid for this. We actually pay to go out and do that. to go to 60 some odd football games a year and scout these players, and we take everything into account. Obviously, their play on the field is huge, but even play, even away from the play. How are they with officials? How are they with interacting with their coaches, teammates, and that sort of thing? So it's the full package. And unfortunately, not everyone gets into that top 10. But if you were nominated this year, one of the top performers, consider that a major achievement. If you were nominated for Trench Trophy at any point in the season, consider that a major achievement. If you were named Cross Training Athletics Player of the Game, consider that a major achievement. And, there's just not enough trophies to pass out, unfortunately. Being named a finalist for Trench Trophy or Connolly Cup, that's an exclusive club. And we will get to those finalists a little bit later in our program. It's coming up, I promise. Tom and I do this show each and every week throughout the season, and tonight is possibly our final show. We're going to see. I mean, we've got 5 games this weekend. As long as we have a Section 6 team still available in the playoff hunt, we're going to do this show. And we technically have 6 teams alive. We have 5 in Section 6, and then we have St. Francis that's going to play for the state Catholic title in just a couple of weeks. We have 5 Section 6 teams playing Friday and Saturday. Friday night's games are at Jamestown. Okay, you got the Class D game at 5 o'clock. That'll be Randolph taking on Oakfield, Alabama, Elba.
Yep.
That's at 5 o'clock at Strider. And then at 8 o'clock, it'll be the Jamestown Red Raiders taking on Canandaigua. The Braves, I believe they're called.
I think so, yep.
And so that's Friday. And, folks, those games are on the NFHS network. They are not on WNY Athletics. We cannot broadcast them. Though you have to buy the NFHS network monthly subscription in order to see those games. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Saturday, we've got Medina in action, Western New York Maritime and Bennett. And we'll get into those matchups a little bit later on the show. Tom, I want to talk a little bit about this past weekend. Friday's games in particular. There were 3 of them. 2 of them we streamed. The first one was St. Mary's and Timon out at Depew. Adam Gorski was there along with Sean Torrey. Gorski did the recap for us. Torrey was doing all the photos. We did get them tweeted out yesterday. Gorski's recap was up that evening. If you didn't get a chance to read into that game at all, go back to WNYathletics.com and you could pull up that story. St. Mary's victorious. They capture, I believe, their second in a row, Division B or small division championship for Monsignor Martin. They were the class of that 3-team field all year long. Christian Lewis broke the record for Monsignor Martin rushing yards in a single season during that game. And congratulations to Coach Matt Ard, who battled through COVID, if you remember. Just excellent job. Excellent job to the St. Mary's Lancers in capturing that title. Great job, Christian Lewis, and a great season for those kids. And what you got other numbers from them?
Yeah, 25 carries, 245 yards, and 3 touchdowns he had in that game.
So just an unbelievable year. And kudos, too, for Timon for showing up, too, for that game. Because, Tom, I think it was like 59-0, or it was a blowout the first time they played. But that was actually a close game in the first half.
0-0 after the first quarter.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
It was a low-scoring game. So Timon gave it everything they had. And I'd love to see Timon and O'Hara get it together and recruit, get some new blood in there, and bring those programs back. Because when the Monsignor Martin division is going from top to bottom, from Canisius all the way down to O'Hara, from whatever, high school football in this area is much better when the Monsignor Martin teams are playing at that high level. Now, the other 2 games on Friday night, Tom, you started that first game off. Yep. It was Randolph and Franklinville-Ellicottville. And that was the Alexander Hines show, was it not? That was that game, Randolph. I thought that was a hard-hitting game.
Absolutely.
I know Randolph it was a big win for Randolph. I mean, it wasn't really a close game in the end, but that was a hard-hitting affair. I mean, Franklinville, Ellicottville, yeah, they lost. What was the final score of that game, anyways?
26-0.
Okay, 26-0. But they did not give an inch. I mean, They hit hard. That was your classic Class D battle. The score will say that it was one-sided, and for all intents and purposes it was. But Lucas Marsh, what a tough kid. Granoles was tough.
I've been talking about Marsh all year, if you remember, saying you're never going to see him go 300 yards, have that type of day. But you're going to see him put up touchdowns normally, and he's a true leader on that team, and he showed that again. I mean, I loved what I saw from him.
Yeah, they didn't give up. Padgett, the quarterback.
Well, Padgett, he ran the ball also. Connolly, their quarterback. But Padgett, yes, absolutely runs the ball for 10 carries himself, 7 tackles on the other side of the ball. We were calling Padgett's name all throughout the day too. Another big player in that game also besides Xander Hind.
Another kid that really made a difference in that game was on the defensive side, Huntington.
Yep.
Is it Jaden Huntington? I remember a sack for him.
Sack, 7.5 tackles too.
Okay, so just a very impressive game for the Class D Section 6 winner, Randolph. The Randolph Cardinals, we knew that was a program that was on the rise. Ben Brown did a terrific job getting those guys ready. Kudos to Jason Marsh and his staff of the FE Titans. You guys had a hell of a season. You definitely earned your way to the stadium this year. So congrats to you guys. But Coach Brown and his Randolph Cardinals are moving on, and they play this Friday, 5 o'clock, at Strider Field against Section 5's Oakfield, Alabama. Elba team, and we'll be talking a little bit more of that in the days to come. I'm actually going to have a preview out Friday of that game, so look for that. The next game on Friday was Jamestown taking on Falconer, and that was all Jamestown. But Tom, I'm going to tell you, when you look,
Frontier.
What did I say?
Falconer. Sorry, Frontier.
Frontier Falcons. I'm sorry, guys. Frontier Falcons. I want to tell you, I looked down into the lower bowl where the fans were, and there had to be 2,000 white shirts.
You put a picture out of it on Twitter. It was awesome.
It was unbelievable. I'm glad Turi got that photo. I didn't see any other pictures of the crowd, but that was impressive. Frontier fans showed up for this game, and it's in your backyard. I get it.
We were told before we got there that Frontier sold out its allotment for that game, and that was proof of it right there.
Yeah. So that was a good showing by the Falcons fans. Tom, we've been saying this all year. Jamestown is just playing on a different level. I want to say the final was 41-0. Was that the final score? Yep. 41-0. Jalen Butera is everything and more. Everything you want out of a football player and more. What did he finish up with?
220 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Okay. And, of course, Ben Anderson right behind him, filling the gaps. I don't know if I don't think he had quite 100 yards, but he had close to 100 yards.
92 and a touchdown.
92, okay. And then Trey Drake. That wasn't the easiest.
In fact, by far, when you look at yardage-wise, was your top quarterback throwing the ball of the day.
Okay.
Of the weekend.
Okay, even more than Kleitz?
We'll
have to look at that.
That would be really close,
but
yes.
Drake made some nice throws in a game where weather was definitely going to be a factor. It was bitter cold. There was wind. Wasn't easy kicking day by any stretch. But that was, you know what? Hats off to the kicker for Jamestown. What's her name? The kicker from Jamestown, the female.
Yeah, I forget her name.
5 extra points.
Yeah.
She made 5 kicks in that game. Name's escaping me. If you're watching, and you could leave her name in there, I want to make sure she gets.
Here in a second.
Okay, I want to make sure.
I was just trying to look at also the difference between.
We've been talking about her all season.
Kleitz. So Kleitz threw for 6 more yards than what Drake did.
Okay. And he tied the record. But Jamestown's kicker.
Pulling it up right now for you.
Thank you. We'll get there. Ella Profiter. Thank you, Dennis Palermo, watching out for me. I owe that guy a quarter zip. It's in my truck. Might smell like a Tim Hortons coffee by the time it gets down there, but it'll fit. That's the important
And only a
thing.
10th grader, too.
She's only a 10th. She is young.
Yep.
And you know what, Tom? I'm proud of her because, last year she took a little bit of slack in that South Park game. As a freshman, she comes in to make a field goal try and hits the uprights, and it bounces the other way. Long story short, South Park goes in to win. And that girl was, she handled it the best she possibly could. For her to come in and play through the year and just nail kick after kick after kick, she's got a bright future whatever she decides to do. So congratulations, Ella, on having your moment at Highmark. I know we've had other female players there in the past. I don't know if we had a kicker make extra points or even field goals. So I think that was the first one. We've had females play in games there. Miss Sally from CSP comes to mind right away, but this girl actually was making extra points. So kudos to her. And again, Jamestown just suffocated Falconer.
Frontier.
Damn it.
But I will say this. I would have loved to see Lippert play in that game. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they would have won the game. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the means. But I think that I would have loved to see these two teams go at it full both at each other.
You want it, when you get to a game of that magnitude, you want both teams want your best. That first game was much closer. It was 21-14. 2014. Butera had all 3 touchdowns in that game. But, yes, and for that kid not to be able to play, that sucks because, how many times has he passed that stadium in his lifetime? Yeah. You dream of a day like that to play in that stadium, and for that not to happen, I feel bad for him. But, he's a great leader. He was on the sideline giving encouragement to his teammates.
He really was.
So he's going to have a bright future in whatever he decides to do. Saturday, Francis and I rode down together. What a mistake that was because he didn't shut up the whole time on that ride down. Oh, my God. Are you sure you did this? Do we have enough guys with this? What about what time do they start serving hot chocolate? Do you have any more HDMI cables? Are we going to be able to reach the field with the I mean, I just had to turn up the radio.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, he was killing me on the way down there. And then
but we love you, Francis. We do.
Love the guy. I almost dropped him off at McKinley Parkway. But anyways, so we're leaving Tonawanda. It was about 9:30. And, it was regular traffic. And then it starts to slow up a little bit. And then we start seeing all these white things, snowflakes. And then we saw a lot of snowflakes and like a blanket. And then we almost rear-ended the Medina buses.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I almost rear-ended the Medina buses. I apologize. I beeped and waved. We went around him. I thought he was driving a little slow myself. But anyways, we got down there, and you saw the field. You were there before anybody.
I got there before, and that's why I put that video out. I wanted everyone to see it kind of pristine and how white it really was out there. I was blown away. I didn't realize there was that much snow on the ground. Because on the roads, you know what I mean? Like, it's clear. Like, even though it's icy, there were slick spots. You couldn't tell there was that much snow out there until you actually got to the field. Yeah. And I was just blown away. I said, wow, this is I got to get this on video. And, we put a video together, make sure we got out so everybody could see it. And then the first people to get there were Fredonia. Whitfield comes running out on the field without a shirt on. He was going, I'm ready to go, boy. And it was fun seeing how the teams reacted when they went out to the field.
It was. I went down to the tunnel because we were testing those mics out.
Yep.
They never worked, did they? Okay. I can't remember the name of the kid that was at the 50-yard line from Fredonia that was down there with, but he was just trying to take in the whole moment, so I got away from him. Went down into the tunnel where Kenny Stolt and Jay Sirianni were talking with an official there, and basically they were just waiting for shovels. And they made Section 6 shovel the field. Like, here's our stadium, have at it, but we're not doing anything for you. They handed them 3 shovels. I don't know. It was kind of crazy.
And they busted their rump.
And they did.
Yep.
Jay Sirianni, Kenny were shoveling, and there was another guy there, one of the coaches from Will North. I forgot his name, who's a great guy. Just can't remember his name right now. One of the coaches from North. They were shoveling the sidelines and end zones and things like that. And as the day went on, even with more snow coming, by the time Bennett and Lancaster took the field, that was pretty much snow was gone.
Well, they shoveled again before that game.
There was still shoveling.
There was another shovel a major shovel that happened just before that game.
The Bennett game?
The Bennett game, the Bennett Lancaster game. In fact, there were a lot of people out there then. And by then, it was sheer ice. They were shoveling ice off the field is what they were doing.
Somebody wants me to clarify how St. Mary's this time was a close game at 52-0. I don't remember saying that was a close game.
No, it started off as it was a much tight game early where you saw Timon was battling inside that game. It wasn't that it was a close game. It was that you liked the way Timon came out in this.
Yes.
At halftime, that game was 16-0, and it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yes.
You like that response that Timon did. They didn't give up. They didn't throw their hats in. They didn't go ahead and give in. They battled. They kept it close in the first half, but St. Mary's, being the better team, took off in the second half and did what it needed to do.
Yes.
But for the first half was a very good game.
The offensive line for St. Mary's is so big and so strong, and Timon has half as many players as St. Mary's does. So you constantly beat on that line, eventually just wears you down, and that's when things got out of hand in that fourth quarter. So
and it's what you hear me talk about almost game after game because I talk about that line all the time.
I don't know if that's going to St. Mary's okay. Well, you guys lost the CSP, a Class D team, down in the Southern Tier. So you guys were never underestimated or underrated. But I understand where you're coming for, Mrs. Zito. But we talk about St. Mary's quite a bit on this show, and Coach Matt Ard and how he battled COVID and was successful. And I think they also had a front page weren't they also on the front of the sports page? Miguel Rodriguez did a story on St. Mary's line.
On Lewis, yeah.
So I don't know what you mean underrated there. That's kind of crazy. Anyways, we'll continue on. Where were we? Jamestown.
We just
Frontier.
did the Jamestown Frontier one.
Now we're on Saturday.
And again, listen, we talked about. I thought a big thing in this game was Drake. I don't want to underestimate that because when you get to the next level, you can't be a one-dimensional team going to the next level. You know that, right?
Yes.
And I love the way Drake was stepped up. Drake hit his men constantly all day long. And if he's as hot with Butera, this team's going to be a tough team to beat.
Absolutely. No, we were getting ready to talk about Medina and Fredonia. We were talking about the conditions down at Highmark and how they were tough for everybody. Made for a wonderful afternoon of trying to live stream games.
It really did.
But anyways, Medina, like Jamestown, is just a very, very special team. They are just playing on another level. Fredonia, for as good as they've been all year, and they battled through adversity all year. They've had some tough games. Southwestern twice to beat them again in the playoffs. They had another tough game down at Salamanca, where it was a back-and-forth game. A lot of penalties, long delays. You know what I mean, Tom?
They played phenomenal in that game.
And they did. Yep. They nothing to hang their hats about. It's been a while since they've played in that big of a game in that kind of a facility. In Medina, too, it's not like they were there within the last few years. They haven't been. But they at least won the Section 6 championship a year prior. They had played in big games before. And even without Brian Fry, we've talked about this. They are playing even better this year. You talk about Alexander Payne, the Thompson kid. There's a Skinner. Noah Skinner. And then the Rims. And Poole.
Jared Rim, yep. And don't forget Cicchini, too.
He's a Trench Trophy guy.
But he's also a receiver for them.
Yeah, he could do multiple things. He could do multiple things. So Medina's just playing at another level. And Fredonia doesn't have that many skilled guys. They've got a few, but they don't have as many weapons as Medina. And when you're talking about the conditions that they had, Whitfield couldn't throw the ball.
I was just going to say
he had a hard time throwing the ball.
He had
in
a
that
problem
conditions.
gripping the ball.
Yes.
You saw he couldn't
Yes.
until the fourth quarter. He really wasn't throwing the pass he wanted to throw
No.
until the fourth quarter. You could see he couldn't grip it. He was really struggling with the grip on the ball that was there.
They had it, and they were playing from behind.
Yep.
What
Which
was
made
it?
that
It was
throw.
32-6 at the half.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that was just a tough matchup for them. I mean, we thought it was going to be a lot closer, Tom, but looking back, heading into that game with the conditions, and we didn't know it was going to be that bad of a storm. We knew snow was coming earlier in the week. We didn't think it was going to be that bad at that hour. We thought later in the evening you were going to have that kind of snow, but it was there even before Fredonia got there. The conditions, they already had 3-4 inches of snow on the ground. But Medina has so many weapons on the ground, and their offensive line, which you loved, and you talked about at great lengths, and I was talking about Fredonia's line and how good they were, and they were both good lines. In fact, Fredonia had 3 Trench trophies. Medina only had 1 guy recognized by the Trench trophy this season. Fredonia had 3.
Remember, though, I did say coming into this game, I really felt that they had a good line.
Yeah.
I really felt they were actually 2 teams that mirrored themselves very well.
Okay.
If you remember, I said is both good lines, both good quarterback play, right, and both good defenses.
Yeah.
So really, they were teams that liked to do the things the same thing. They could throw and run, and do it with their quarterback.
Okay. Is Cicchini 52? Who's 52? Can you look who number 52 is for Medina? Because this
No,
dude,
Cicchini's not, but I will tell you who it is.
I want to say 52. A couple of times I was in the press box with other guys that were scouting this game. Number 52.
Cicchini's 3.
Okay.
52 is Chris Johnson.
Wow. This dude, and who's 58?
58 is Calvin Stalker.
Okay. I one of those 2 guys, we couldn't tell if it was 52 or 58, but one of those guys in the nose tackle position was just blowing up the Fredonia line, making it hell for Whitfield to even move. I mean, that dude played the game of his life, and it was either 58 or 52. Whoever was playing nose tackle, again, from where we were with the snow, it was tough to make out the 8 or the 2.
Chris Johnson had 4 tackles in the game.
Okay. Could have been him then. I think it was Johnson. He may have also been named our defensive player of the game. I'll go back and talk to Jimmy Craig, who was doing that with us, and I'll double check for sure. But yeah, they are okay. Adam Helwig brings up a good point. The reason why Medina might not have had more Trench traffic time is because they do. They're underclassmen, and I think Trench is just seniors only.
It is only seniors.
Okay,
It's
my
senior
apologies
only.
then. My apologies to the Trench guys.
Except for they do, in their finalists, they will name 3 juniors. They named 3
now?
this year. They named
wow.
3 this year. It was always 1 in the
Wow.
past, but
2.
3 this year they've named that I saw on their list.
Okay. But what a hell of a game for Chris Johnson. He was just blowing up that Fredonia line. Kudos to him. Medina's moving on. They got a big game this week. It's escaped me who they're playing. ERS or something like that. ELS. I think that's who they're playing this Saturday. We'll get more information on that game in just a second. Let's go to the Class B game. It was Maritime and Iroquois, and Maritime's ground game really took over, took the ball out of Iroquois' hands. So the Iroquois offense really never got going, and I don't know if Maritime is going to get enough recognition for what they did in this game. They were awesome. Western New York Maritime Health Sciences, they were amazing all day. They just ran that ball wherever and whenever they went. East Rochester, Canada. Thank you, Jason and Austin. Appreciate that. We're going to be talking to all those coaches over the next 2 days. We're going to have these Zoom chats with Section 5 coaches coming up. Actually, starts tonight. If they're clean and there's no swearing, I will play them for you folks on our Facebook page so you can meet those coaches and things of that nature. But anyways, Iroquois, Maritime, Littleton, 4 touchdowns, 272 yards.
Yep.
What a game. I don't want to say it was a coming out party for him, but he just got nominated for the Connolly in the 9th week.
He did because he didn't listen. This is what
You know
Littleton
why?
happens, all right? Because Littleton early on in the season when he was in conference, there wasn't a close game. He didn't need to run the ball the whole entire time. He comes out against Albion, goes for 300 yards against Albion. He comes against Iroquois, goes 270 against Iroquois. I'll tell you, this kid is a very underrated player here in Western New York, behind an underrated line in Western New York.
Very underrated.
Yeah,
Very underrated. So Littleton got off. I think Copeland had a touchdown too, Tom?
Yes, I think he did.
Yeah,
He ran
Copeland
for one, ran to the outside. They had a couple penalties that were called back. I couldn't remember if that was one that was called back or not. But
Kleitz did tie the record for most passing touchdowns in a season at 37, was it?
Yes.
Okay, so he tied the record. Couple drop passes in the end zone, Tom. He probably could have broke it on a cleaner day. He probably could have had it.
It was a tough day to throw.
It was a very tough day.
Not only was the snow coming into play, the ball wet, your hands wet, cold. That wind, if you looked at the flag blowing in the thing, was straight across, blowing as hard as it could go. There were a lot of elements to be dealt with on the field.
So congratulations to Maritime. They're moving on, and they'll have a tough matchup. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then finally it was Bennett and
their matchup, if you want to know what it is, it's right here.
Throw me that, please.
It is Batavia.
Oh, yeah,
who
Batavia.
We've seen Batavia play CSP.
No.
Yes.
Did they play CSP this year?
I called that game,
the
Batavia CSP game, which was at Depew.
Yeah. And CSP almost won.
Absolutely.
So that scares me. Maritime you should probably win this one.
What am I going to say right off the bat?
I don't know.
Look at the line.
Yeah, right.
Look at the lines. Western New York Maritime, you want this win? Littleton's going to need to run the ball behind you.
Now, Batavia.
Batavia do not wear those damn uniforms that you wore to Depew.
The blue ones?
They were those camo ones with the color on it.
I don't know if they'll do that this
nothing.
Well, Maritime has blue jerseys, don't they?
Yeah, but this was a camo jersey, and in the camo color was the color of the number.
That's not what they wore to the Carrier Dome. They were at the Carrier Dome last time we were there.
Yeah, no, this was
so
a
Batavia
very
is
tough
no
jersey
joke, but
to
Maritime should take them down. But Batavia as a program really is no joke. They got some ball players there, and they know how to get to Syracuse. They've been to the Carrier Dome. Maritime has not. Batavia has. We'll get into that. Bennett in Lancaster was by far the game of the weekend. I mean, the Franny's Canisius game was good.
Was pretty good too, right?
But
I give those two.
At the end of the day, this was the game because Bennett had scored 70 points the week before. Lancaster got by Clarence. But with these, no, but
what, 27-0?
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Clarence. But I was trying to get him. Anyways,
much closer than the Orchard Park Bennett game.
There you go. All right. Okay. Thank you for bailing me on that, my man. This is why coaching is so important and being able to be balanced across the board. Lancaster is so in tune with that coach, it's not even funny. He constantly puts them in position to make plays. They are always ready to go. They make no excuses. They just do the job. Their tackling on Saturday night was the best tackling I've seen all season. When they had a chance to make a tackle, they tackled. They only gave up like 2 big plays, Tom. They gave up 2 big plays. They were killers. But they gave up 2 big plays.
Do you realize how many yards Allen ran for in that game? How many yards do you think he ran for?
170?
320.
Never knew it.
Never knew it. Because I agree with the comments that you're making, but I'll tell you, because you know why? A lot of the game was played between the 15s.
Okay.
If you remember. So, yes. Both teams would bend, but nobody would break for the final score. So it was a lot of yards between the 15s. What you're talking about is about what Micah Harry ran for in that game.
Okay.
Where he ended up finishing, I think it was 162.
Why don't let's do this real quick. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back In a minute, you're watching.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to wnyImmediatecare.com for more information.
Okay, folks, we are back right now. I'll be joined here in a second by Frank Wolf right here. So the yardage I was talking about by Micah Harry right here, Micah actually ran for 32 carries for 166 yards and a touchdown. So it was a little bit exactly what we were talking about originally with Dominic Allen. Dominic Allen's final stats were 33 carries, 350 yards, and a touchdown in that one. So we had some big running backs that did some fantastic stuff over the weekend. Not only that, you talked about Medina. Greg Thompson ran for 10 carries, 265 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Butera, we talked about 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. Xander Hine, 141 and 2 touchdowns. And then the quarterback, Xander Payne from Medina, actually carried the ball for 14 carries, 209 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So we really had a big day as far as the running backs went in this game and running the ball. And it needed to be because of the elements that were there at the field.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a little break I needed there. So the Connolly Cup finalists, we have the list. And we're going to share that with you.
Can I say, I'm not on the committee, so can I say something here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not on this committee. Whether you about to agree with this list or not, really it doesn't matter, okay? Please don't disparage anybody on this list. Nothing negative should be said about any kid on this list. The problem is always, I talk about this no matter what the scenario is. We probably have about 15 kids that you have an argument to be on this list. Maybe even a little bit more. And the argument is always everywhere between what we would rank in our heads as number 7 to 15, okay? I get it. I get there are a lot of kids that you think are deserving. Please, we're not here to bash anybody that's been on this list. Congratulate those kids. We move forward from there.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that because, the committee does as best they can to come up with a final list. It's never easy. But they do the best they can. So, without further ado, Mrs. Heidi behind the great wall there, can you go through the 2021 finalists for the Connolly Cup? Number 1, Carson Alberti out of Depew makes the list, 1,357 yards and 23 touchdowns. Congratulations, Carson. Number 2 is Dominic Allen from Bennett with a huge game last week. 1,950-plus yards, 20 touchdowns. He was averaging almost 13 yards a carry, Section 6 Class A championship. Tyler Baker, Canisius, Monsignor Martin quarterback, gets on the list, almost 2,000 yards passing, played one of the toughest schedules in all of Western New York. Jalen Butera, congratulations, a Connolly Cup finalist. 1,900-plus yards, 32 touchdowns, Class A champion. Next on the list is Devin Collins from Hamburg. The Bulldog gets in there with 1,200-plus yards and 12 touchdowns, had 2 monster games against Frontier this year. Way to go, Devin. Micah Harry from Lancaster. He gets on the list, 1,375 yards, 19 touchdowns, a Class AA runner-up. Congratulations, Micah. Next on our list is Xander Hine from Class D. Class D champion, 1,700-plus yards, 24 touchdowns. His team is still playing. Next on the list, Trey Kleitz, quarterback, Iroquois, 2,300 yards, 37 touchdowns, Section 6 Class B runner-up. Congratulations, Trey. Christian Lewis from St. Mary's of Lancaster gets on the list, 2,141 yards, 23 touchdowns. And finally, Xander Payne, Medina, the Mustang, gets on the list, 1,386 yards, 21 touchdowns, and a Section 6 Class C champion. Congratulations to the 10 finalists for the 2021 Connolly Cup. There will be a banquet held on December 8th at Ilio DePalos. Your invites are going out as we speak, and we will present the 49th Connolly Cup trophy to one of those 10 players on Wednesday, December 8th at Ilio DePalos. Du Boyer will be the MC, and we're looking forward to meeting you guys there. And
we'll probably be broadcasting the whole thing again, right?
We will live stream that. Yes, we will live stream that event. The winner has not been made, but their day. We're also going to be live streaming the Trench Trophy Awards.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. And, of course, Dick Gallagher's Banquet returns. That's December 18th. It's a Saturday.
We've never live streamed Dick Gallagher's Banquet. Are we going to do that this year?
I think we can. I don't know how many interviews we'll get. But I think we can have something going.
It's a long day, so I mean, I get it may just be about the event and just literally just streaming the event because it does speak for itself.
It does. But I would like to do that if there's room. It's usually been tight because of so many award winners there. But that's it. So that is the list of Connolly Cup award winners. Again, all 5 games this weekend are on the NFHS network. Can we take another quick commercial break? We'll be right back with our Freak of the Week.
When it's time to sell your home, start with a visit to howardhanna.com, ranked the #1 real estate site for sellers. A few clicks will show you the sales price you can expect for your home. We can get you the most money in the quickest amount of time because we know where the local buyers are and how to reach them. So if it's time to sell your home, visit howardhanna.com today, and we'll match you with a local Howard Hanna agent to sell your home fast.
I love being home.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, large or small, call 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab right away. If you are in pain or just sore, don't take chances. Call RES today and take advantage of their 24 to 48-hour appointment pledge. With no copays, RES will help navigate the confusing world of no-fault insurance with you, so you can concentrate on getting better. 681-4088. RES Physical Medicine and Rehab. The most important call you can make after an auto accident.
Avoiding care can lead to worse problems. Don't delay care. We're here for you. Western New York Immediate Care provides quick, quality care for non-emergent injuries and illnesses. Go to wnyimmediatecare.com for more information.
Folks, welcome back. You've now heard the Connolly Cup finalists. We also want to give you the Trench Trophy finalists. So they are as follows: Joe Cicchini, Medina; Alex Coder from Pioneer; Matt Colville from Akron; Joey Delgado from Jamestown; Conrad Christensen from Frontier; Justin Massing from CSP; Julian McGawkey from Jamestown; Matt Murphy from Will South; Cole Perlman from Clarence; Alex Rogowski from West Seneca East; Jimmy Scott from St. Francis; Gavin Susfolk from Canisius; Andrew Takis from Hamburg; and David Wright from Western New York Maritime Health Sciences. Then there are 3 underclassmen that are going to get the award this year for the underclassmen: Tommy Carlson from Lancaster, Ryan Carpenter from Randolph, and Rashard Perry from Bennett. Those are your finalists there for the Trench Trophy. So
I'm going to tell you something, Tom. I was talking with another coach the other day about players, bouncing different ideas off one another and things that he told me. He's seen a lot of players in Western New York in his day. He told me flat out Rashad Perry is the best football player we have in Western New York, both sides of the ball, and he will be playing on Sundays. And I don't know if I could disagree with him.
I can't. There are some, from what we're being told, major college programs looking at him right now.
Yeah. He's sick.
And not only that, he's a great kid. If you ever really had a conversation with him, he's a great kid. He really is.
He's very. He's like not boastful. He's not. He's just easy to talk to.
Yep,
He's
great kid.
He's somewhat almost too shy or humble, maybe.
Yep.
Which is a nice combination to have. But he is a freak athlete.
He really is. I mean, I've got a chance to see him with pads and without pads, and I'll tell you, this kid's something, and he will be the next person in Western New York we talk about at the next level.
I hope so.
Yep.
I hope so. There's others. I mean.
Oh yeah. There's
there's
a lot of
too.
others.
Yeah. There's. But I mean, I even like Jimmy Scott. He's just an exceptional talent. Jimmy Scott. He could have been a running back.
Yep.
He could have played both sides.
I mean, he still is, for St. Francis. He's that short line, that short yardage guy, that goal line guy. And he had 2 touchdowns in the Kenesha St. Francis game.
Now he's moving on to play at Pitt with Addison Copeland, who's another kid with exceptional speed, great hands.
Great special teams
I think
kid.
you'll see him more now shine that they're playing better competition, if you will. And that's no slight at the teams they've played.
Oh, no.
But I think you'll see Copeland more now.
I agree.
You saw Littleton, but I think now that they're going to have to start maybe throwing that ball a little more.
Agreed. But here's the other thing.
More.
This year, there's not a lot of film on him from a special team standpoint because everybody in Western New York knows who he is.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Not everybody outside of Western New York knows that. You also may see him go crazy on some special team stuff.
They may, because he gets around to those camps, right? He gets around to those. So if coaches bounce around, they talk. You really can't hide a Jimmy Scott for too long. You can't hide a Copeland for too long.
It only takes one return for you.
With Huddle, with Huddle now, you really can't hide those kids. But we've got a lot of good football players here, a lot of exceptional football players here. Tom, our Freak of the Week, we've been passing this out since week 1, and this is our last week awarded. Why don't you tell us who you chose and why you chose them?
Listen, I think there are a lot of kids that we could have been talked about this week, right? We talked about Medina and Xander Payne and what he did. He was an absolutely great kid. Some of the kids that have already won it, too. We've already talked about Dominic Allen from Bennett, right? And, again, Butera could win it just about every week, what he's accomplished. But what we really thought was a phenomenal performance this season or this week for the final week of the season will be from Western New York Maritime, Damian Littleton. Really did such a great job. Been underrated this year because, and we were getting into that. Remember earlier?
We started to, yeah.
He didn't have a
moment for that. Depending on how long that banquet goes, we'll see. But I'll make sure that we have these trophies at that banquet because pretty much everybody back there is going to be there some way or not. Okay, so I'll announce those Connolly Cup winners again, the final 10, and then what are we doing after the Freak of the Week? Were we going to cut the show? Mm-hmm. We have Zoom chats tonight with Section 5 coaches, so we have to wrap this up a little early. Again, the finalists for the Connolly Cup this year are Carson Alberti from Depew, Dominic Allen from Bennett.
She's playing him again.
Okay. There's Dominic Allen, 1,900-plus yards, 20 touchdowns, averaging almost 13 yards a carry. Quarterback from Canisius, Tyler Baker. Canisius played probably the absolute most brutal schedule of any Western New York high school football team this season, and he still threw for almost 2,000 yards.
With St. Francis.
And Jalen Butera, 1,900 yards rushing, 32 touchdowns, Section 6 Class A champion. The kid could have had 2,500 yards if he played a full game. Devin Collins, stud from Hamburg, running back, 1,250 yards, 12 touchdowns, makes the list. Micah Harry from Lancaster, 1,375 yards on the ground rushing, 19 touchdowns, a Class AA runner-up. He was the heart and soul of that Legends team. Xander Hind from Class D. This kid could have been nominated each and every week Trey Kleitz from Iroquois makes the list, ties the record for most passing yards in a season. Christian Lewis from St. Mary's at Lancaster, 2,141 yards. That's a single-season record for Monsignor Martin, 23 touchdowns. And then from Medina, Alexander Payne, 1,386 yards, 21 touchdowns. He just was an exceptional football player this year. Congratulations to those guys making the list. And that's going to do it for our show this week. We will be back next week as long as we have teams still playing. There's 5 teams going at it.
I believe we're really gone. I really do.
My prediction is 3. 3 teams will get through. But we've had 5. We've ran the table. We ran the table just a couple seasons ago. The winners this week, by the way, go to Cicero, North Syracuse. That is in Syracuse also, obviously.
You lived in the backyard of Cicero, North
and that's
Syracuse.
One of the nicest, if not the nicest, high school stadiums in all of New York State. That's Texas right there, man. That's like a Texas-style stadium there.
Got elevators for the press boxes. Ain't nothing like that anywhere around here.
There's like 10 press boxes there. Right?
This will be the first time I don't have to lug it all the way up those stairs.
Elevator could be broke down.
Don't say that.
Don't jinx it, man.
They have a couple elevators, though. There were a couple of them. So.
They will. So either way, we'll be heading out there. The NFHS Network has asked Western New York Athletics to handle all their streams from here all the way through the Carrier Dome. So we'll be doing those games and looking forward to it. Tom, thank you very much for helping me out with the show. We'll be back next week. I know you're taking the crew to – well, we'll be in Jamestown, and then you're going to be handling stuff on Saturday at Will South. I'll probably be
And look, we're still going to have pregame shows, halftime shows, post-game shows. You'll know what's going on the Western New York Athletics platforms out there. So don't worry. We're going to keep you abreast. We'll do the best we can at getting some highlights out for you at the same exact time. But if you want to watch the full game in its entirety, that'll be on the NFHS Network.
Thank you very much for watching. Have a great week, everybody.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Being home.